So today, let's dive into something truly mystical, the Murali, which is the enchanting flute of Sri Krishna. Now, in Indian mythology, this is so much more than just a musical instrument. It's really seen as the very heartbeat of a civilization, a sound that has literally echoed through art, music, and spirituality for thousands of years.
Okay, let's just pause on that for a second. That is a pretty wild claim, isn't it? The idea of a sound so powerful it could actually defy the laws of nature. For centuries, artists have been trying to capture this exact vibration, this divine frequency that legends say came from a single, simple bamboo flute. And we're not talking about some fad that came and went. This melody has been captivating people for 5,000 years. You could almost call it the original viral sound, right? A frequency that resonated across countless generations, way before the internet was even a glimmer of an idea.
And that, right there, is the real mystery we're looking at. In our world, with all its complex synthesizers and high-tech audio gear, how does the simple, organic sound of a flute still manage to cut through all that noise and connect with us on such a deep, primal level? It's a fascinating puzzle. So let's investigate. Let's really try to understand how this one single sound has managed to shape culture, music, and even our idea of what peace feels like, not just in India, but all over the world. So how do we even begin to explain its power? Well, on one hand, you've got the scientific view. Some might call it acoustic nostalgia, a purely physical response to specific sound waves that just happens to trigger something deep inside our brains. But on the other hand, for millions, it's a profound spiritual soul connection. So is it just physics, or is there some kind of universal frequency that we're all, naturally tuned into?
But here's where it gets really interesting. The flute's power isn't just about the sound it makes. In Indian tradition, the instrument itself is this incredibly powerful metaphor, where its physical shape, its very design, is the whole point.
And this brings us to a really core teaching. For Krishna to play his music, the flute has to be completely empty, completely hollow. And this is seen as a direct metaphor for the human ego. The idea is that if we can empty ourselves of pride, of self-importance, we too can become these perfect instruments for something divine, something greater, to work through us. This connects to this incredible concept called anahata, which literally translates to the unstruck sound. It's meant to be the primordial vibration of the universe, the background hum of creation itself. The flute, because it's so simple and hollow, is thought to be the perfect channel to represent this pure, universal sound. Now, to really understand this unifying power, there's this legendary story from the ancient text, the Bhagavata Purana, that just captures it perfectly. It shows you exactly what happens when this divine frequency is introduced into a world of total chaos. So I want you to picture this, a forest, just buzzing with the raw, unfiltered sounds of nature. There's tension, there's conflict, predators are out there stalking their prey, and the air is just thick with the noise of survival. It's a world totally defined by division and opposition.
And right into the middle of this chaotic scene, a single, clear melody starts to emerge. Krishna picks up his flute and just starts to play.
And the effect was instantaneous. The stories say that the cows just stopped grazing, their ears totally fixed on the sound. Lions, completely forgetting their predatory instincts, sat peacefully right next to deer. Even people, hearing the melody from far away, they just dropped whatever they were doing and started walking towards the music, almost like they were in a trance.
So here's the crucial point. This wasn't just good music. It was a frequency so pure that it dissolved the very concept of other. It unified all of creation by reminding every single living being of their shared essence, turning enemies into companions through one single harmonious vibration. And the amazing thing is, this isn't just some ancient myth. The call of the flute is a living legacy. It's a melody that continues to influence and inspire art and culture to this very day. You can see its cultural footprint everywhere. It's there in the delicate brushstrokes of Kangra paintings, a traditional art form that so often shows Krishna with his flute. You see it in the graceful storytelling of Kathak, a classical Indian dance. It's the very soul of the Bansuri flute, which really dictates the emotional scales of Hindustani classical music. And its influence even stretches into modern-day jazz fusion, where artists are still drawing on its timeless appeal. In so many ways, the flute is like the central conductor of Indian aesthetics.
And ultimately the legacy of Krishna's flute teaches us this really profound lesson. that true spirituality, that real connection, isn't always found in grand gestures or loud declarations. Sometimes it's in the subtle, haunting notes of a simple melody that just reminds us that we are all just instruments waiting for the right breath to make us sing.
So I'll leave you with this question to think about. Has there ever been a piece of flute music, or really any melody for that matter, that just completely stopped you in your tracks and made you feel something profound? Something to chew on. Thanks for joining me for this one, and we'll see you next time.